Nice tune, Julian.
Thank you.
Are you ready to go with the presentation?
Yeah, let's go. So where it is, share screen here. Can you see it?
We can, yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna talk with you about Twitter mining over smart cities. My name is Julien Carbonnet, and so this is a presentation for the final project of Iron Arc Berlin. And overall, I'm actually doing my PhD thesis in urban science, and I will defend my thesis in September 2021. So the topic of my research is stakeholder engagement in smart city, and my approach consists in a comparative cultural study between Asia, Middle East, and Eastern Baltic. I am investigating the cities of Taipei in Taiwan, Tel Aviv in Israel, and Tallinn in Estonia. And I am duplicating the exact same protocol of research of different levels of expertise and quantity of sources by this method. So one-to-one interviews with key decision makers, collaborative workshops, survey to inhabitants, and social media analysis, notably Twitter. So for this project, I've been working on Twitter mining, analyzing different groups of tweets, and that's the protocol. So for data collection, I've been using a Twitter scrapping tool called Phantom Buster. Then I've been cleaning all my data sets using natural language processing, a package called NLTK. For the data processing, I've been using the sentiment analysis model text blob, and also I used the other one called Vader, but Vader doesn't have a logo, so this is why you cannot see it here. And as for data visualization, I did some statistical graphics with Seaborn Library. The two hypotheses I'm trying to experience is that the more people engage digitally for a city, the more the overall sentiment will be positive on that city. And the more one stakeholder category engage, the more it will receive positive feedbacks. So these are the composition of my datasets. So as you can see on the left, I've been scrapping the hashtag and the name of the three cities of my interest. And I have about 17,000 tweets for Taipei, 17,000 tweets for Tel Aviv, and less for Tallinn. It's a smaller city, 6,000 tweets. All those tweets right back to 2013, 2012, something like that. So I can say that I've almost all the history of what have been told on Twitter on that cities. And so those three data sets are going in another data set, categorical one called all city. And on the left, what you can see is that for each city, Taipei, Tel Aviv, and Tallinn, I've chosen a representative of 6 categories of stakeholders, which are public sector, corporate companies, startups, academic research, civil society, and media industry. And so those 3 representatives of each categories, one in each city, are going into a category. That's there you have the number of tweets of each category. All the categories are going into another data set called global, in which you find 78,000 tweets. So on the first round, I can say that my hypotheses are not validated. Especially, I identify that there is a very low sentiment expression. The polarity overall is about plus 20%, while minus 100 is super negative and plus 100 is super positive. And indeed, with Vader, I can find that 84% of the tweets are express neutral sentiments. So what also what I have been discovered by this way is that the categories publishing most have the fewest likes, and that's really surprising. It's also sad, also especially for the media category, for example, because they are the professional of publication on social medias, and they have an average of two like per tweets. The corporate category is the other one who communicates the most, and they don't really have a lot of likes neither. Their likes are about 26%. That's 26 likes per tweet, sorry. As a matter of comparison, the civil society, which communicates less, collects most of the likes with an average of 180 likes per tweet. And overall, what we can see on the word cloud is that those words do not really mean nothing. You can see the name of the cities and the countries, and then you have random common words that are spread around, but nothing really insightful. So I did a multicollinearity check by using the correlation matrix. I was thinking that maybe I cannot see nothing with bare eyes, but going into a correlation matrix will help me to see more details. And I cannot see nothing really interesting neither, which means that the variables which are correlated are very obvious. For example, polarity and subjectivity are correlated, which means, in other words, that the more a tweet expresses sentiment, the more it is subjective, of course. And also the tweet length and the number of clean tokens are correlated. So once you have clean all your data sets, the last tokens that mean something depends, the number of tokens depend on the length of the tweet. So there is nothing really interesting there. So I was like, okay, maybe you should check at the upper scale. And so I collected, I went to a website, it's a website of a business school that is publishing one annual smart city ranking. And so they rank the cities of the world that are the most advanced in smartization. So I collected the name of 100 most advanced smart cities of the world, and it represents 30,000 tweets. And I have processed again the same steps in order to check what was in it and to understand if I had a problem of sampling over the total population. And not. So the hypothesis is not validated neither. I can say it's stronger. And the results are even more, let's say, insightless. It means that the polarity is only of 12%, so less than the case studies. The neutrality is 88%, so more than the case studies. And so on this word cloud that represents all the tweets that have been published those last years in the 100 most advanced smart cities, what you can see basically is only name of cities, name of countries, and a few generic words like new, job, Christmas, travel, COVID, of course, people, today. Well, nothing to do with that. So I went to the point that I have an interesting problematic. I keep trusting that. I had promising data sets, and the results are very flat. And so there is this gap, this Big Mac gap that you probably all know. You have an expectation coming from the commercial, and you have the reality in your plate. That's it. So thank you very much. If you want to read more about my research, please go on my Medium. I'm publishing everything there. And if you want to contact me, you can do it by email.
Well done, Julian.
Thank you.
Any questions? Brilliant Big Mac comparison. I like it too. Yeah, it's one of those frustrating things when you hope you'll find something cool and then you're like, oh no, but it's still worth going through it. So great insight nonetheless. Any
Thank you.
questions from the room, from the class, or from the teaching team for Julia?
I see Christoph has asked, why did you choose these 3 cities?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just wondering, because you said like it's 3 different regions, but like why these specific cities? Did you have like
Okay.
more data from here, or like what was any
No,
reason for that?
it was a mix. So last year I was traveling. I was on my year of. So this year I am on the data exploitation year, but last year I was on the data collection year, and so I was investigating those 3 cities physically. So I spent 4 months in those 3 cities last year. And basically, I chose it for a mix of opportunity, of interesting stuff happening live in those cities, and also the cost of living, the capacity of being there. I'm investigating citizen engagement, so obviously I need to go in democracies. I'm interested in startups, so I check what was let's say, the most vibrant startup cities. Yeah, more or less that's it. So, and I wanted something in Asia, one in Middle East, and one in Eastern Europe. So, and also at the end, the lockdown started to change a bit my options. My last option was not to go in Estonia, and finally it's very cool because I discovered that they are probably the most advanced digital states of Europe for sure, but probably one of the most in the world. So, yeah, that's it. This is how I chose.
Oh, cool. Makes sense. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? I mean, we like the 3 T's thing anyway. That works well. Great. All right. Well,
I had one question.
Yes.
So considering that you didn't get these kind of like insights you were looking for, what are your kind of next steps? Will this have a big impact on your research, or was this just one small subsection of it?
Okay, thank you. This is a nice question to talk about that. So no, it's not a big problem. To be honest, those hypotheses are a bit cheesy. Like the most people communicate, the most they are happy. You know, it was not really specialized. I can definitely find some more specialized thing to look at. But if I want to keep going on those hypotheses, the thing will be I have 2 ways. First, I will start to define a lexicon in my field to create bags of words and to take the way of each of these bag of words. And not having only a semantic look overall, but something more specialized to my field of research, which is urban development. That's something. And also there is something else, is that if I can find not clear breaking results, but only tendencies on each of my cities, and I will be able maybe to make a link in between the tendency observed in each city and what I have learned from living there. So I wrote 3 monographs, one of each city, and so my comparative cultural study will consist in creating links, insightful links in between the cultural background and what happens on the web. So maybe I will find things later.
Okay, cool, thanks.
You're welcome.
Nice. Yeah, the bag of words things, like it should have some potential there, right? Identifying words that are important to your particular sphere, to the particular smart city sphere. Yeah. Makes sense. All right. Thanks, Julien.
You're welcome.
Up next, I believe we have Andrew. And can we get Andrew's music going, please?